The ultimatum. The massive Confederation warship emerged from the darkness beyond Mars, a behemoth of gleaming metal that dwarfed humanity's largest space stations. Earth's detection systems barely registered its approach until it was already within striking distance, a demonstration of technological superiority that sent a chill through every military command center on the planet. On the bridge of the International Space Defense Station Alpha, Admiral Sophia Rice watched the alien vessel with a mixture of awe and dread. After decades of searching the stars for extraterrestrial intelligence, humanity's first contact was arriving not with a message of peace, but with the silent menace of a predator. All defense platforms to yellow alert, she ordered, her voice steady despite the hammering of her heart. But hold fire unless explicitly ordered. We don't want to start an interstellar incident. The enormous view screen flickered to life without warning. The face that appeared wasn't what anyone had expected. The being had 4 eyes arranged horizontally across a flat, almost disc-like head. Its skin shimmered with an iridescent blue quality that reminded Raya's of abalone shells. When it spoke, the translation came through the station's speakers, with barely a second's delay. People of Earth, I am High Commander Zex Talon of the Galactic Confederation. Your primitive world has been monitored since your species first transmitted radio signals into space. The Confederation Council has determined that humanity represents an unacceptable risk to galactic stability. Rice felt her blood run cold. What risk? We've barely left our own solar system. The alien's upper eyes narrowed. Your species progresses too rapidly. In less than 3 centuries, you have advanced from primitive combustion engines to rudimentary interplanetary travel. Your biological adaptability combined with your aggressive tendencies and resource consumption patterns match the profile of previous civilization-ending species. The alien paused, the skin around its mouthparts rippling. The Confederation has encountered your kind before. Species that develop too quickly inevitably expand beyond their means, consuming everything in their path. We want peaceful relations, Rise insisted. We can learn from your civilization. Adapt our. The decision has been made, the commander interrupted. You have 2 Earth rotations to surrender all military capabilities and accept Confederation stewardship. Your technological development will be restricted and population controls implemented. Refusal will result in planetary sterilization. The screen went dark before Rice could respond. 600 kilometers above the dark side of the moon, in a hidden shipyard known only to a handful of people, Captain Alina Chen stood in the command center of humanity's most advanced warship. The ESS Aurora was the culmination of 20 years of secret development, a vessel built not just with human innovation, but with recovered alien technology from a crash site in the Antarctic ice sheet decades earlier. Captain, we're receiving an emergency broadcast from Admiral Reyes, her communications officer reported. Chen nodded sharply. Put her through. Reyes's face appeared on the main screen, lines of exhaustion already etched around her eyes. Captain Chen, Project Dawn has been activated. The Confederation has issued an ultimatum. We have less than 48 hours before they attack. Chen's expression remained impassive, but her fingers tightened on the railing before her. The Aurora is ready, Admiral. Weapon systems are operational, stealth systems online. We were scheduled for another month of testing, but there's no time, Rise interrupted. Earth's conventional defenses won't last an hour against their technology. Your mission is clear. Survive the initial attack, then strike back however you can. The Aurora is officially our last resort. Chen looked around at her crew, 38 men and women selected from every space-faring nation, the best humanity had to offer. None of them had expected their maiden voyage to be a desperate last stand. We won't let you down, Chen promised. The Aurora was built for exactly this scenario. After the communication ended, Chen addressed her crew. You all heard the situation. Earth faces an existential threat. We've trained for this, but I won't pretend the odds aren't stacked against us. The Aurora has capabilities no other human vessel possesses, but we're still one ship against what could be an armada. Her tactical officer, Commander Rajpatel, spoke up. "Captain, our long-range sensors have detected 7 additional Confederation vessels entering the system. They're moving into strategic positions around Earth." Chen nodded grimly. As expected, they never intended to wait for our surrender. She straightened her uniform jacket. "Initiate launch sequence. We need to be in position before they begin their assault." The Aurora slipped away from its lunar dock like a ghost, its revolutionary propulsion system leaving no energy signature as it accelerated toward a position hidden within Earth's debris field, the scattered remains of old satellites and space junk that orbited the planet. From there, they could observe, and when the time came, strike. Chen studied the tactical display as the Confederation ships moved into an attack formation. The alien vessels were massive, each one easily 10 times the size of the Aurora. But size wasn't everything, she reminded herself. The Aurora had been designed with one primary advantage: unpredictability. "They're deploying smaller craft," Paddle reported. "Hundreds of them, heading toward our defense platforms." "And so it begins," Chen murmured. "Record everything. The world needs to see what we're up against." The attack was swift and merciless. Earth's orbital defense platforms, the pride of human military technology, were systematically destroyed. The particle beam weapons that had seemed so advanced during testing proved ineffective against Confederation shields. Nuclear-tipped missiles detonated harmlessly against invisible barriers. On Earth, chaos erupted as global communications networks went dark. Major military installations were targeted with precision strikes that left smoking craters where command centers had stood moments before. Within 3 hours, humanity's organized defense capability had been reduced by 70%. "They're methodical," Chen observed, watching the systematic destruction. "Not wasting resources, targeting only military assets. They want the planet intact." "For colonization?" asked Dr. Layla Ibrahim, the ship's xenobiologist. "Or exploitation?" Chen replied. "Either way, we're not going to let that happen." As night fell across North America, the Aurora made its move. Chen had studied the Confederation attack pattern and identified a vulnerability. The aliens were so confident in their superiority that they maintained predictable patrol routes. "Weapons hot," Chen ordered. "Target the smallest vessel on the perimeter." Full stealth mode engaged. The Aurora's revolutionary design incorporated the salvaged cloaking technology from the Antarctic crash site, refined and enhanced by human engineers. As they approached their target, they were effectively invisible to Confederation sensors. "In range," Patel announced. "Target locked." Chen took a deep breath. This would announce humanity's defiance to the Confederation. There would be no turning back. Fire. The Aurora's main weapon, a directed energy cannon powered by an experimental dark matter reactor, fired a concentrated beam that sliced through the Confederation ship's shields as if they weren't there. The alien vessel shuddered, secondary explosions blooming along its hull as critical systems failed. "Direct hit," Paddle confirmed, surprise evident in his voice. "Their shields. They didn't even slow our weapon down." "The Antarctic technology," Dr. Ibrahim murmured. "It's compatible with their systems because it came from the same source," Chen finished. "That ship is disabled but not destroyed. Let's make sure they know this wasn't a malfunction. Target their main communications array." A second shot disabled the alien ship's ability to call for help. Before the other Confederation vessels could respond, the Aurora had already disappeared, its stealth systems re-engaged as it retreated to the darkness beyond the moon. On the bridge, a tense silence gave way to cautious celebration. They had struck the first blow, proving that humanity wasn't defenseless after all. But Chen knew this was just the beginning. "They'll regroup and change tactics," she warned her crew. "And we've lost the element of complete surprise. From now on, we're fighting an asymmetric war against a technologically superior enemy." She studied the tactical display, watching as the Confederation fleet scrambled to respond to the unexpected attack. Earth's conventional forces had been devastated, but the planet's population remained largely unharmed. The aliens wanted Earth intact, which gave humanity leverage and time. "Set course for the asteroid belt," Chen ordered. "We need to recharge our weapon systems and prepare for the next phase." As the Aurora slipped away into the darkness of space, Chen knew that the real battle was just beginning. One ship against an alien armada seemed like impossible odds, but humans had always excelled when backed into a corner. And the Aurora had secrets the Confederation couldn't possibly anticipate. The reckoning. Deep in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, the ESS Aurora drifted silently among the tumbling rocks. The ship's external running lights were dark, its energy emissions dampened to near undetectable levels. In the command center, Captain Alina Chen studied tactical displays showing the movements of the Confederation fleet now scouring Earth's orbit for the vessel that had dared to strike back. "They've deployed sensor buoys throughout cislunar space," reported Commander Pottle. "Their search pattern is expanding outward from Earth at a rate of approximately 500,000 kilometers per day, which gives us roughly 4 days before they reach our position," Chen calculated. "Time enough to implement Operation Ghost Protocol." The senior staff gathered around the central holographic projector as Chen laid out her plan. It was audacious, borderline suicidal, but no one voiced objections. They all understood the stakes. "The Confederation has overwhelming firepower," Chen began, "but they're predictable and overconfident. Our first strike revealed 3 critical weaknesses. Their shields are vulnerable to our adapted weapons, their formations prioritize efficiency over security, and, most importantly, they don't expect us to take the offensive." Dr. Ibrahim leaned forward. "The analysis of their communications after our attack showed significant confusion. Some of their signals suggested internal disagreement about how to proceed." "Exactly," Chen nodded. "They're not a monolith, and that's another advantage we can exploit." She manipulated the holographic display, highlighting the deployment pattern of the Confederation fleet. "We'll begin with hit-and-run attacks on their supply lines. Force them to divert resources to protection. Then we target their communication relays to isolate their command ship from the fleet." "Guerrilla warfare in space," Patel mused. "Our ancestors would be proud." Chen's expression remained grim. "This isn't about pride. It's about survival." Over the next 2 weeks, the Aurora struck with unpredictable ferocity. The ship would emerge from stealth mode just long enough to cripple a Confederation vessel or installation before disappearing again. They severed supply lines, destroyed communication arrays, and picked off isolated scout ships. Each attack was calculated for maximum psychological impact. Chen never destroyed a ship completely if disabling it would accomplish the same goal. She wanted the Confederation troops to drift helplessly in their crippled vessels, waiting for rescue, spreading fear through their ranks. The strategy worked better than anyone had dared hope. The Confederation fleet, designed for overwhelming force against conventional opposition, was ill-equipped for an invisible enemy that refused to engage directly. They began to fracture their formations, spreading thinner across the solar system in an attempt to protect their vulnerable support infrastructure. In the Aurora's command center, Chen reviewed the latest intelligence with growing satisfaction. "They're making mistakes, deploying ships individually rather than in coordinated groups. Their command structure is showing signs of stress." Dr. Ibrahim had become their de facto expert on Confederation psychology, analyzing every scrap of intercepted communication. "There's more," she said, excitement evident in her voice. "We've identified at least 3 distinct factions within their fleet. The dominant group, led by Commander Talon, pushed for Earth's immediate subjugation. But there's significant resistance from representatives of the Mithran and Elysian species." "Can we exploit these divisions?" Chen asked. Ibrahim nodded. "The Mithrans, in particular, have been arguing for cessation of hostilities. Their communications suggest they believed Earth deserved the standard first contact protocols rather than immediate military action." Chen's eyes gleamed with new purpose. Then it's time to make contact with our potential allies. The next attack targeted not a warship but a Confederation diplomatic vessel bearing Mithran markings. Instead of disabling it, the Aurora executed a precise maneuver that brought the two ships briefly side by side, close enough to establish a direct communication link that bypassed the Confederation's network. Vessel of the Mithran delegation, Chen transmitted. This is Captain Elena Chen of the Earth ship Aurora. We wish to establish dialogue. The response came after a tense moment of silence. A tall, willowy being appeared on the view screen, its elongated face dominated by large, luminous eyes. When it spoke, its voice had a musical quality even through the translation system. Captain Chen, I am Ambassador Thela. Your actions have caused quite the disturbance within the Confederation Council. Some call for deploying planet-killer weapons against your world in retaliation. Chen maintained her composure. And what do the Mithrans call for, Ambassador? The alien's expression shifted subtly. We opposed military action from the beginning. The decision to classify humanity as a threat species was premature. Then help us end this conflict, Chen urged. We've demonstrated that we can inflict significant damage on your fleet, but that's not our goal. We seek only to protect our world and our right to self-determination. Thela's large eyes blinked slowly. You misunderstand the situation, Captain. The Confederation spans over 300 star systems. The forces deployed against Earth represent less than 2% of our military capability. Your resistance, while impressive, cannot change the ultimate outcome. Perhaps, Chen acknowledged. But we're not fighting to win in conventional terms. We're fighting to change the calculation, to make Earth too costly to conquer. An interesting strategy, Thela conceded. But High Commander Zex Talon has staked his reputation on this campaign. He will not withdraw without significant incentive. What would constitute significant incentive? Chen asked. Thela's answer was interrupted by alarms blaring through the Aurora. Captain, Patel called out. 3 Confederation battleships just appeared from behind the lunar horizon. They've locked weapons on our position. They tracked our transmission, Chen realized. End communication. Stealth systems to maximum. Evasive pattern theta. The Aurora pulled away from the Mithran vessel just as the first energy blasts tore through the space they had occupied seconds before. The ship shuddered as a glancing hit struck their aft shields. Damage report, Chen demanded as they accelerated away. Shields at 60%, Paddle responded. Stealth systems compromised. They're tracking us. Chen made a split-second decision. Set course for Jupiter. Maximum speed. The Aurora shot away from Earth's orbit like a bullet, the pursuing Confederation ships following in relentless formation. As they approached the massive gas giant, Chen's plan became clear to her crew. Jupiter's intense radiation belts would mask their signature, possibly allowing them to restore their stealth capabilities. They're gaining on us, Patel warned. Their engines have more raw power than ours. Chen nodded grimly. They don't need to catch us. Just keep us visible until their main fleet arrives. She studied the tactical display, watching as additional Confederation ships moved to intercept. Prepare for Combat Protocol Omega. Her crew exchanged glances. Combat Protocol Omega was a last resort scenario they had trained for but hoped never to implement. It required pushing the Aurora's experimental systems beyond their tested limits. As they reached Jupiter's orbit, the massive planet looming before them, Chen gave the order. Initiate dark matter cascade sequence. Deep within the Aurora's power core, the experimental reactor began a controlled overload process. Energy readings spiked to levels never before achieved in human engineering. The lights throughout the ship dimmed momentarily before stabilizing at a higher intensity. Reactor at 130% capacity, reported the engineering officer, tension evident in his voice. Holding stable, for now. Chen nodded. Reverse course. Take us directly at the lead pursuit vessel. Captain, Patel questioned, shocked by the apparent suicide run. They expect us to hide, Chen explained calmly. So we'll do the opposite. Weapons to maximum charge. Target their primary power distribution node. The Aurora swung around in a tight arc, now racing toward the oncoming Confederation warships. The alien vessels hesitated, clearly confused by the unexpected maneuver. They're charging weapons, Paddle reported. So are we, Chen responded. Fire when ready. The Aurora's main cannon, supercharged by the dark matter cascade, released a beam of energy far more powerful than their previous attacks. It struck the lead Confederation vessel dead center, overwhelming its shields in an instant and cutting through the ship's core systems. Secondary explosions blossomed across the alien vessel as it began to break apart. Without pausing, Chen ordered, "Second target." Again the Aurora fired, this time striking one of the Confederation's largest battlecruisers. The alien ship's shields held for a fraction of a second before collapsing, allowing the energy beam to slash through its command section. The remaining Confederation vessels scattered, their formation disintegrating in the face of unexpected catastrophic losses. For the first time, the aliens were experiencing true fear. Chen didn't press the advantage. Resume stealth operations. Set course for the Mithran diplomatic station. 3 days later, representatives from Earth, led by Admiral Reyes, sat across from a delegation of Confederation species. The meeting took place aboard a neutral vessel in orbit around Mars. High Commander Zex Talon was conspicuously absent, replaced by a coalition of Mithran, Elysian, and Tyrolean diplomats. The Confederation Council has reconvened to reassess humanity's status, Ambassador Thela announced. In light of recent demonstrations, we acknowledge that our initial classification may have been an error. 4 of your capital ships destroyed, a dozen more disabled, Admiral Reyes stated flatly, all by a single Earth vessel. I'd say that's more than an error in classification. A Tyrolean representative, his crystalline exoskeleton glittering under the chamber lights, leaned forward. Your technology is of particular interest. Our analysis indicates your weapons circumvent our standard shield harmonics through means we haven't encountered before. This suggests either remarkable innovation or what? Reyes prompted. Or access to technology you shouldn't possess, the Tyrolean finished. Technology similar to that of the predecessors. A hush fell over the chamber. Dr. Ibrahim, part of Earth's delegation, exchanged a glance with Captain Chen, who stood silently behind Admiral Reyes. We developed our defenses independently, Reyes stated firmly, and we're prepared to continue demonstrating them if necessary. Ambassador Thela made a conciliatory gesture. That won't be required. The Confederation proposes a cessation of hostilities and recognition of Earth's sovereignty. In return, we request the establishment of diplomatic relations and cultural exchange. And technology sharing, Chen asked quietly from behind Reyes. The aliens exchanged glances. That would be beneficial, Thela admitted. Reyes smiled thinly. We'll consider it. But first, the Confederation fleet withdraws beyond Neptune's orbit. All of it. After further negotiation, the terms were agreed upon. As the delegations prepared to depart, Ambassador Thela approached Chen privately. Your ship, the Mithran said softly. It contains technology derived from a crashed vessel discovered on your planet approximately 60 Earth years ago, doesn't it? Chen kept her expression neutral. I'm not authorized to discuss such matters. Thela's large eyes blinked slowly. The predecessors vanished 20,000 years ago, Captain. They left remnants of their civilization scattered throughout the galaxy. The Confederation has spent millennia studying their artifacts, yet you humans, in mere decades, adapted their technology more effectively than we have in thousands of years. Perhaps you've been overthinking it, Chen suggested. Perhaps, Thela agreed. Or perhaps your species possesses a unique perspective. Either way, the Confederation Council now recognizes that humanity represents not a threat to galactic stability, but an opportunity for growth and renewal. As long as you stay on your side of Neptune, Chen reminded the ambassador. Thela made a gesture that might have been the Mithran equivalent of a smile. For now, Captain. For now. 3 months later, Earth was recovering from the brief but devastating conflict that had come to be known simply as the Confederation War. International cooperation had reached unprecedented levels as humanity united to rebuild and prepare for a future as a recognized galactic power. On the observation deck of the newly constructed International Space Station Beta, Captain Chen stood beside Admiral Reyes, looking out at the stars. The Aurora has officially been designated as the flagship of Earth's new defense fleet, Reyes informed her. We're building 6 more vessels based on your design. They'll be ready within 18 months. Chen nodded, her gaze still fixed on the distant points of light, and the Antarctic facility. Expanded. Our scientists are making remarkable progress understanding the predecessor artifacts. With the information we've negotiated from the Confederation, we're decades ahead of where we would have been. Chen finally turned to face the Admiral. They'll be back, you know. Not tomorrow, not next year, but eventually. The Confederation has existed for thousands of years. They think in terms of centuries, not election cycles. This is just a temporary setback in their eyes. Then we'll be ready, Reyes said firmly. The Aurora proved that humanity can stand up to the most advanced forces in the galaxy. One ship forced them to respect us. Imagine what a fleet will do. Chen's expression remained solemn. It wasn't just the ship, Admiral. It was what the ship represented. Our adaptability, our resourcefulness, our refusal to surrender even against overwhelming odds. She looked back to the stars. Those are the qualities they fear, and they're right to fear them. In the vast darkness beyond Neptune's orbit, the Confederation fleet maintained its position, watching and waiting. But for now, Earth was safe, protected not just by advanced technology or military strength, but by the uniquely human combination of ingenuity, determination, and the will to fight against impossible odds. One ship had changed the course of history, and humanity was just getting started.